How's it, guys? So I thought I would make a Apollo 11 recreation. As I've been playing KSP, I've been really interested in how space works and the science behind it, and so I thought I'd make a Apollo 11 recreation with some facts. So the vessel was only meant to cost about $3 billion, and it came out costing like $30 billion. So I thought that was quite interesting. The mission pretty much went to plan, except that when they finished the mission, they had about 23 seconds of fuel. That obviously didn't happen, but in my old version it did. Yeah, so like I was saying, is that they had 23 seconds of fuel remaining at the end of the mission, and that this was more than expected. The reason is because when they landed on the moon, they had to do a different maneuver which actually saved fuel, and they were going to hit a rock, and so they had to move a little bit more to the left or the right to avoid hitting a rock while landing on the moon with the lunar module, which I thought was very interesting. The other thing to note is that they had all intentions of making a orbit around the moon that they would be able to cancel and come straight back to Earth without spending any more fuel. So I think it's called a free trip or a free orbit. And what that is it allows you to go to the moon and back to Earth without spending any fuel in case something went wrong. That's obviously not what's happening right now. But anyways. So 2 men jumped into the lunar module and 1 man stayed on the ship that was above the moon, and they detached. And the 2 men then went down to the moon, and like I was saying, what is really interesting is that they were actually going to hit a rock while they were landing, and so they had to change their landing site, so it wasn't exactly that actually changed quite a bit of the landing, which I thought was quite interesting. The other bit that you probably don't know is that the crew slept on the moon for 7 hours, and that they were told to document a lot of what they saw, so to take like lots of pictures of what they saw. They also had a camera that they were able to film, which I think is really interesting. The other bit I thought was quite interesting is that they leave the bottom of the lunar module on the moon. And as you can see where I landed, you can't see the Earth. So they obviously landed somewhere where you could see the Earth. And I thought that also quite interesting, that you can't actually see the Earth from everywhere on the moon. It might just be my perspective. And so then what they had to do is that they had to launch from the moon and meet their space plane that was in orbit around the moon. So this was a huge mathematical choice of knowing when to start your engines and how you're going to meet up. It's not that easy, I'm sure, in real life to get this precise, because if you get it wrong, it's very costly. But this is what they would have had to do. So they leave that bottom of the lunar module on the moon. And then what's also quite interesting is that once they join up with the space shuttle that is in orbit around the moon, is that they're then disconnected from the other bit of the lunar module and left that circulating around the moon when they then left. So they left a whole lot of stuff on the moon and also stuff orbiting the moon, and then came back to Earth, which I thought was quite fascinating. And as you can see, you need to pick up a lot of speed to catch up. I think it's incredible that they managed to do this. The fact that, like, with limited technology and limited science and all that sort of stuff, that they were able to achieve what they achieved. I think it's quite amazing. This part was probably the most difficult part, I'm sure. They could have crossed between one ship to the next, so they didn't have to get out, but I can't quite do that. So then, like I was saying, is that they then disconnected from the lunar module and left that circulating around the moon, and then they made their plans to head back to Earth. And these burns were like 20-second burns, a minute, couple of minute burns, and they had to be 100% precise, and I thought that was fascinating. As you can see, I got that burn pretty wrong. I lowered my orbit into the Earth, so we would have just crashed and burned, so I had to reverse a little bit. Cool. They then jettisoned all of that, and they came to the Earth and landed in the Pacific Ocean. So I thought that that was all very interesting. And they successfully landed back in the ocean after a complete mission that pretty much went all according to plan. Hope you guys learned a new fact about something. I don't know. I learned a lot about this, and I thought it was very, very fascinating. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. And yeah, if I get 100 likes, I'm going to buy all of the downloadable content. And if I get 100 subscribers, I'm going to do the career mode on YouTube. So yeah, like and subscribe, and let's see what we can do.